It was a meeting of the minds that crossed international lines. Over 40 firefighters from more than a handful of countries like Panama, Brazil, and Ecuador visited McAllen for an action-packed training conference.
So we have firefighters that are coming from 7 different countries into the city of McAllen, and they're looking for training in a variety of courses. We're offering a vehicle extrication class here at the Central Station. We have a firefighter safety and survival class going on at our drill field. We also have an incident safety officer class going on at the convention center. So we kind of have a diversity of classes that are being offered.
The International Firefighter training was held in conjunction with the State Firemen's and Fire Marshal Association of Texas and the Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service. It's part of a planning conference for instructors who will attend a fire training school at Texas A&M University in July.
And it gives them some added value. Instead of just coming into town for a meeting and then going home, and they travel great distances, this gives them an opportunity to obtain some additional very high quality training in these 16-hour training formats.
It's access to intense hands-on training these firefighters may not have in their homeland. They began their days hitting the books. Then it was off to proactive exercises like this vehicle extrication rescue. The international emergency responders learned how to properly use the jaws of life to free trapped accident victims.
It's tremendously important. Vehicle extrication would be a vehicle accident, and if somebody's involved in a vehicle accident inside of their vehicle, they can become entrapped or entangled in the vehicle. Now, to get them out, to get the medical care, requires specialized tools and a specialized skill set that we're able to offer to the firefighters. So these firefighters may have the tools in their location, but they may not have the proper training, or they may have the training, but we can expand on the training and show them some of the newer techniques that are being used.
Robert Hernandez of the FAR Fire Department helped to lead the training on vehicle extrication.
And you're going to go around, you're going to do the fifth door. You're going to start it here, cut the V-post, you're going to come in, cut the V-post, you spread it.
Hernandez says it's just a matter of learning how to best utilize the resources their departments have.
Well, basically what we did is we basically took what we learned in the past and we basically brought it all together and we simplified it. We know that in Central South America, they're very limited in the resources as far as equipment is concerned. So we're trying to be minimalistic. These techniques allow them to do this entire operation, what we do with 5 or 6 tools, they're only doing with 1 or 2. So we're teaching them how to use what they have over there and use it to the utmost. The concept hasn't changed, it still remains the same, it's just a technique.
It was an eye-opening experience for Carlos Acevedo, a fire instructor from Mexico's capital.
We are taking the vehicle extrication course. This is the second year I come to this conference in McAllen, and we learn so much. We have our classroom information and then hands-on training like this. It's really valuable to get actual hands-on experience.
Piece by piece, the firefighters used the jaws of life to pry open the vehicle until it was simply a bare, mangled piece of metal.
This is a great way for them to increase their education and take these key learning principles home with them to pass these on to keep their fellow firefighters safe and also to protect their communities and critical infrastructure.
McAllen Fire Captain Gerald Williamson says the attack mode for newer vehicles is much different than dismantling older automobiles. So when seconds count, you want the best trained, most skilled emergency responders out there.
So it's very important from a safety standpoint for the general public. Somebody that may be involved in an accident really needs to get the best trained personnel to help them. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So we're able to do that here in McAllen to take home to the citizens of the countries that these firefighters are representing here.
Simultaneously at the McAllen Fire Training Center, another batch of international firefighters was participating in a rigorous confined space exercise. Before they even set foot in the training home, the firefighters were asked to take a quick physical checkup. The task seemed pretty simple: maneuver through a series of obstacles in a mobile home designed to mimic the tight, tricky spaces a firefighter has to endure during a fire or rescue. The actual challenge, though, wasn't quite so easy. Felix Carrillo, a firefighter from Caracas, was the first one to run the drill.
Bueno, hemos estado conociendo las técnicas, los procedimientos del punto.
We're learning techniques to survive a situation where we are trapped. The object is to take off our air tank as few times as possible as we try to squeeze through. This is so important because in case we are in a scenario with tight spaces, we know how to handle the emergencies.
It was a rough run through the confined space obstacle course for the 6'7" Venezuelan. Carrillo admits it was tougher and more physical than he expected to maneuver through the makeshift walls and barriers. He was drained, but truly appreciated the lesson.
El beneficio principal, más allá del conocimiento que
The most important part of all of this, beyond the initial training we receive, is we're able to take the information back and share it with our departments. Most of us are instructors back home, or we teach at different firefighter schools. Obviously, we can't all afford to come to great training like this, but we learn, we study, and then we're able to take it back home.
Captain Williamson says they've had exactly that kind of phenomenal response to the International Firefighter Training Conference, particularly because the city of McAllen provided Spanish-speaking instructors.
The firefighters come in and they feel very welcome by our city. It's a very natural place for them to, number one, communicate, because the primary language that they speak is Spanish, and we're a typically bilingual culture here in McAllen, so it's very comforting for them. Aside from that, we can offer, we're firefighters, they're firefighters, so we speak the same language in terms of our occupation. So Spanish and then the language of firefighting and training really makes them feel comfortable to come in and train here with us.
Firefighter Acevedo agrees. He gives the overall experience a big thumbs up.
Es un gran esfuerzo que hacemos nosotros.
It's a big effort that we make to come to this conference. We're a volunteer fire department to some degree, and 3 of us were able to make the trip. That's a big undertaking for us, but we learn and we train and we get to take it back. And you can't put a price on that.
For the city of McAllen, I'm Roxanne Lerma Cáceres.